And there have been some other stars who have spoken out on it, Katy Perry being one. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be diving into Coachella Weekend 1. I'm going to be giving you all the recaps, highlights, all the news that happened, and going over several of the performances. But before we dive in, remember to like and then subscribe and turn on those notifications buttons so that way you never miss a thing. And also remember to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Xandar Blankenship. Let's dive into it. So for those of you who don't know what Coachella is really, Coachella is this huge music festival that happens every year. It took place this year on April 10th through the 12th for weekend 1, and it's held Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night for 2 weekends. It is probably one of the largest music festivals in America. It centers primarily on pop music, and according to the Brassy, they have roughly 125,000 guests attend per weekend. And to put that in comparison, Stagecoach, which is kind of like a country version, only has about 80,000 total for their entire time. So it is probably one of the largest in North America, one of the most popular, huge music festival. And they always have 3 people headline it every year. This year's headliners are Sabrina Carpenter for Friday night, Justin Bieber for Saturday night, and Karol G for Sunday night. So now let's dive into Friday night. So to start off, Sabrina Carpenter headlined, and she had a huge list of celebrities lined up to help throughout her show. I was able to watch it on YouTube. They were doing it live on YouTube and I watched it, and due to the time difference, it didn't start here till like midnight, but I watched it all. Amazing performance. And to start her off, she had Sam Elliott introduce her. And then later on in the night, she had Will Ferrell come out, who played a technician character and lit up her set to reveal Sabrina would. She had a huge cinematic set, amazing dances, had some waterworks at the end. And then she also had some bits in the middle. She had Susan Sarandon play a much older version of herself, reflecting on her past and, what could happen later on. And then she had Corey Fogelmanis come out and do a little sketch as well. And he was her co-star on Girl Meets World, one of the shows where she got her start. And then she even had the voice of the one and only Samuel L. Jackson, who did a voiceover during her song Juno, whenever she did her iconic Juno pose. And so that was all amazing to see. However, there was a small piece of controversy during her set. And according to Entertainment, she heard a yodel, as she called it, during the show, and she stopped to address it, and she stated that she didn't really care for hearing it. And I remember watching it on YouTube, and it was very, very clear to hear, and I remember seeing it. But later on, she did apologize afterwards, after she fully understood what was going on. And here's the quote. She responded on X, "My apologies, I didn't see this person with my eyes and couldn't hear clearly. My reaction was pure confusion, sarcasm, and not ill-intended. Could have handled it better. Now I know what a zagruta is. I welcome all cheers and yodels from here on out." So it appears this yodel was actually a cultural thing called a zagruta. And she mistook it for a yodel, and some people didn't take too kindly, but her apology on X seemed to have smoothed things over. And then later on, we had a performance that was supposed to be done by Anima after her show, which, according to Variety, had to be canceled due to strong winds and bad weather conditions that occurred later that night. But we did get some amazing performances beforehand by Cat's Eye, who brought out the one and only cast of K-pop Demon Hunters to perform the hit song Golden, which took over radios and won so many awards. And we had an amazing performance by Teddy Swims, who brought out Joe Jonas, Vanessa Carlton, and David Lee Roth to help him perform. And those shows went splendid. People loved seeing Cat's Eye perform with K-pop Demon Hunters. And their version of Golden absolutely was phenomenal, as always. So let's move on to Saturday night. So for Saturday night, we had Justin Bieber, who headlined it, and it was his first major performance in 4 years. And so people were dying to see him perform. According to Brown Wire, stars like Timothée Chalamet, Katy Perry, Jacob Elordi, Somber, and even Lizzo all came to see him perform. However, there was some mixed reactions to his performance. So while the star did just release his new album not too long ago, and he did sing some songs live from it, many of his performances, according to the Billboard, were done by YouTube videos. He had a laptop set up on stage, and he went in and YouTubed many past music videos and performances and played them on a huge screen behind him. Some people saw it as a very clever artistic move to do. Some people wanted his usual performance, seeing him sing live. But according to some reports, he had to do it this way because he recently sold his music catalog. So Billboard spoke on how he had to do it to get by with the copyright and where he didn't have permission to use it at the time. But YouTube is free for anyone to see and view. So that's why he did it. The star has not spoken out on this yet. And there have been some other stars who have spoken out on it. Katy Perry being one, who according to Billboard as well, made the comment that she's glad he had YouTube Premium because she did not want to see the ads, making some little hits and jokes at how he used YouTube. So there were several mixed reactions on that. However, there were some performances earlier that definitely went much better. David Guetta performed, and he even brought out Jennifer Lopez, and they sang their song Save Me Tonight. And that was received very well. Many people loved seeing that. And then moving on to Sunday night, we had Karol G performing, who made Coachella history. According to Hypebeast, she was the first Latina to ever headline the Coachella Music Festival. And not only that, she had amazing dancers, an amazing set, really brought a lot of her culture into it. And she also brought out the stars, Becky G and Maria Angelique, to also help her perform that night. And many people loved seeing her perform. Critics loved it. She got amazing reviews, and everything was well received there. So that pretty much wraps up the highlights from what happened over the weekend. These three are set to headline Coachella Weekend 2, which is happening April 17th through the 19th. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well, with Sabrina on Friday, Justin on Saturday, and Karol G on Sunday. And Anima is also set to also perform again Friday night. Hopefully the weather conditions will be much better. I know many people wanted to see him perform, and sadly he wasn't able to due to those weather conditions. But hopefully, Anima will be able to perform then. I was only able to watch Sabrina's performance, but I did go back and watch some clips. I did watch some of Justin Bieber's, as well as the clip on Katy Perry that was circulating the internet whenever she made that statement. And some of his songs from his new album, Swag 2, were performed. And he seemed to have sung some while the music videos was playing, but it did heavily rely on those music videos. I know many people were really thrilled to see him perform, but they really wanted more. So hopefully we'll be getting a lot better performance. Hopefully he'll be bringing some more people up on stage during the second weekend. Karol G, she brought out some people. and they said her dancers really performed well that night. I haven't seen any clips yet, but I'm excited to go back and watch some. And I'm excited to see who she brings out on the second weekend. She was the first Latina to headline Coachella, so that was remarkable and definitely made history there. And overall, I love seeing the different reviews come in for Coachella. It would be my dream to go there one day and see it live. I do know the tickets are very hard to get and a lot of people are there. Like I said, 125,000 per weekend. That's 250,000 total on average. And Stagecoach, which was the country version of Coachella, in a sense, it primarily features country music, where Coachella mostly does pop music. It only had 80,000 total. So it is a huge music festival. It is located over in California. But maybe one day I'll get to go. And I am excited to see how Coachella Weekend 2 turns out. Stay tuned. I'll be posting another video on the second weekend, letting you all know all the recaps and how it went then. And as always, remember to like and leave some comments down below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notification buttons so that way you don't miss Coachella Weekend Part 2 or any other updates. And remember to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and as well as YouTube here at Xandar Blankenship. And I'll see you all for Coachella Weekend Part 2. And until then, keep listening to some great pop music.